In the last few months, my sister-in-law has been going through some difficult times in her personal life, and since then, her behavior has changed absolutely. She started to party all the time. She is rude with her parents, with her siblings, with her sisters-in-law, including me, and a few weeks ago, she crossed the line. She got back in touch with my husband's ex-girlfriend and started posting photos with her on her social media, and even gave that woman my husband's number and showed her photos of our children. My husband tries to be patient because he knows that she went through a really hard time. We try to talk in a good way to her, but she doesn't want to listen. She just yells and insults everyone. A few weeks ago, she got really mad because my husband gave me an heirloom that my grandmother gave him, and she threw tantrums until I gave it to her. Being honest, I gave it to her because I don't like fights, and because I love her, and I didn't want her to hate me for a necklace. But that wasn't enough. After she gave my husband's number to his ex, we had a Zoom call with my in-laws to talk about Christmas. We are quarantining, and we are about to get tested so we can spend the day with my in-laws. And she said she wants to invite a friend, as this is the first Christmas without her ex-fiancé, and she doesn't want to go alone. Her sister asked her who that friend is, and she said that her friend is my husband's ex. Of course, everyone said no, because it would be uncomfortable for my husband and I. But she started saying that I shouldn't be jealous, that her ex just wants to be friends with my husband, that I shouldn't let our ages make me feel insecure. Husband is 46, I'm 26, and his ex is almost his age. I honestly don't care about his ex. I know my husband loves me and that our relationship is going really well. But that doesn't mean that I want to spend Christmas with his ex. She said that if she can't invite her friend, she won't go. And now her parents are sad because they adore her and want to see her because they haven't seen her for months. But I don't want to celebrate Christmas with his ex. So I talked to my husband, and we both decided that if she invites his ex, we won't go. I have a good relationship with my in-laws, and I know that they love my children and want to see them, but like I said, I don't want to celebrate Christmas with his ex. So will I be the a-hole if I tell them to choose between their daughter or my children, my husband and I? Not the a-hole. Sounds like everyone, you included, enable her behavior, and it's time to draw a line. Like any toddler, her behavior will get worse before it gets better, but she needs to grow up, and she's not going to do it if she never feels the need to. My 26 female brother, 37 male, lost his job a few weeks ago, and therefore he also lost his apartment, and now he's in my house. But I can't stand his presence here, to be honest. He's rude, and he's treating me like his servant all the time. And my husband, 45 male, and I fight a lot because of that. My brother acts like this because we were raised in a very conservative house. Our dad taught us that men are superior to women, and I even believed that I was inferior to men until I met my husband. He's totally different than my family. Well, I think his entire family is different from mine. My husband was raised to do the same things that my dad says only women can do, and ever since I moved in with him, it was hard for me to understand that he could cook, wash his own clothes, and clean his house himself. But in time, I got used to him doing half the house chores. The point is that I'm 29 weeks pregnant, and I don't feel well lately. So my husband is the one who does absolutely everything in our house, and my brother jokes about it. A few nights ago, they fought because my brother didn't like what my husband had cooked, and he wanted me to cook something else for him. But my husband told him that I was not going to do that because I was feeling bad, and he said something like that cooking was something that I should do because I'm a woman, and that's what women know how to do well. After that fight, everything got worse because my brother made fun of my children. They are 2 boys of 3 and 2 years old. Because they love to help me to take care of my plants, and according to him, that's not for men. He thinks that is something I should do once my daughter is born, and my husband got very angry and told him that he has a week to find another place to stay because he doesn't want our children to grow up with that mistaken idea of what masculinity is. I spent years working on my confidence, and with my brother here, I feel that everything I did was useless. But we are in a difficult time, and I don't want him to leave. He could get sick, and that would make me feel so bad. He has no other place to go. Our family lives in our home country, and that complicates everything even more. Would I be the a-hole for kicking him out of my house? Not the a-hole. He is making your entire house toxic. Not only is he belittling you and your husband, but your children as well. Do you really want your kids to learn to tolerate behavior like this? Or, worse yet, start acting like him? He is a grown man and needs to either chill out with his sexist behavior or find something else to say. Sit him down and let him know flat out, change or leave. That way, it's his choice. This feels like an episode of Dateline, so please bear with me. I was in a relationship with a girl from work, in which she got pregnant. Our relationship hit a rocky patch in our personal lives, which then spilled over into work. Pour a drink and sit down. I'll try to keep it to the point. There is an older guy at work that is extremely unliked, very well known for being a control freak, egomaniac, a-hole, manipulator, little man syndrome. Overall, just an extremely unpleasant person and can't hold down a permanent work partner. So my then pregnant girlfriend got assigned to work with him on a permanent basis. She is very new, so I tried to give her a heads up that it was a bad idea, but she went ahead and did it anyway. Within a week of working with him, she had changed. Like I said, we were in a rocky patch. I saw her at work one day and pulled her aside to have a chat. In the open with people all around, we both got irritated. She went her way, I went mine. A nothing event. This guy went and reported to our manager that I was in her face with a puffed out chest and clenched fists. Absolute insanity. Fortunately, everyone at work knows me well and knows that this is complete garbage. Even my then girlfriend didn't report that. A week goes by and another similar event happens. Nothing significant in reality, but his report to our manager, and now HR, was equally as fabricated and abhorrent. Fortunately, on this occasion, there was video footage to back me up and disprove the claims. Due to the repeated events, HR orders that we no longer communicate while on the clock. No problem. Outside of work, she suddenly ceases all communication with me. Doesn't answer calls, texts, forwarded emails. I get blocked from all social media. Literally acts like I don't exist. Of course, this is my pregnant girlfriend, so I was of course being persistent with trying to speak to her. People at work start noticing changes. Some of the things people have come to me with. She won't get out of her car until this guy arrives and walks her in. She no longer picks up overtime unless he is the partner. She doesn't say hi to coworkers who she was getting along with great. When she walks past people in the hall, they say she won't even make eye contact, like she's scared. If she does happen to talk to anyone, he is always standing over her. Even to the point that when she opens her phone, he checks to see what she's doing. Last week, they were separated for operational need, and apparently, he flipped out in the office, demanding that they remain together because she has to work with him. Everyone is noticing, but people don't want to get involved, understandably. Last Thursday, I arrive home and there is a letter from her attorney, cease and desist, claims that I am harassing, stalking, and threatening her, demands that I make no further attempts to communicate with her, or she has been advised to immediately call law enforcement. I am speechless. I know you guys are going to be assuming that I'm leaving details out of things I haven't done, but I swear to you, this is genuinely this crazy. I've done nothing to this girl. I love her, and I want to be a part of my child's life. I cannot understand what is going on here. Nothing about her behavior is normal. Her own mother told me that she doesn't see her daughter anymore when she looks in her eyes. This isn't how she handles conflict. If she has a problem, believe me, she will let me know. She would never get HR involved in attempts to get me fired, and she would never think about getting an attorney on me. All of this is so out of character for her, and I'm genuinely worried. I, along with many others, feel like this guy has brainwashed her. They work pretty isolated at work for 12 hours a day, 3 times a week. I'm not worried about them being in a romantic relationship, just to call it what it is. She is young, hot, and pregnant. He is more than double her age, about 5'4", slightly overweight and balding. I don't view him as a threat in this sense. What is concerning me is how he seemingly has been able to completely manipulate her into acting the way she is right now. I have no idea what his intentions are and whether she is actually safe. The only person who seems to be willing to speak up to defend her has now been served with a document from an attorney. So what do I do? As if this wasn't stressful and crazy enough for me, I decided to do some research on him. Turns out, when he was younger, he was indicted of killing his brother with a shotgun. His mother hired a high-profile attorney, and they refuse to cooperate with investigators. It's now listed as an unsolved case. So now my head is in a whirlwind. What do I do? I honestly don't know where to start. Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody can get close enough to talk to her. I'm extremely concerned. Edit. To those asking, I'm really trying to be smart. Yes, a piece of me wants to protect her and beat the living crap out of this guy. But at the same time, I have to think about the repercussions of that. It will feel good in the moment, but it will probably cost me my child, my job, and Lord knows what else. Edit 2. Just had a consultation with an attorney. He was very familiar with the ex's attorney, to the point that he even knew the verbiage she was using before I told him. He laughed it off. He has assured me not to worry about the cease and desist, and just to continue on maintaining my distance and keeping good records. I liked him and scheduled an in-person visit so that I can bring in all of my evidence. Phone records, texts, emails, unpaid rent, unpaid utilities, etc., etc. He is also referencing the potential for a defamation lawsuit if I indeed end up losing my job over this. You gotta cease and desist. Don't try to talk to that girl ever. Even using coworkers, friends, family. You should hire a lawyer. Sue the guy for trying to ruin your reputation, if you can, and talk to your lawyer about this. She will probably tell you the same. Don't talk, message her. If you are concerned about her, your child, maybe your lawyer could try to communicate with her lawyer. But if you do it directly, you are risking getting a restraining order. Don't do it. I, 25 female, and my cousin, 25 female, have been very close. Adding to that, we look very much alike, which is very obvious since most of our family has brown, red hair, while we both are blonde. Me and my cousin got married at roughly the same time. Both of our husbands are very close friends to each other, 29 and 27. In her pregnancy, we found out that we are both Rh negative. After some time, I found out that my uncle is Rh positive, which means that he cannot be the father. I told my parents, who then told me that she is actually my twin sister and that she was given to my uncle and aunt who raised her as their own, since my aunt is infertile, or thought to be, after an accident. It is fairly common in our culture to give a child to an infertile sibling. I was very conflicted after finding this out and told my husband, who then supposedly accidentally told my cousin's husband. Well, last week, after her doing some research on the rhesus factor, her husband is Rh positive. She also found out that her parents can't be her parents. She came to me crying, and I told her everything. Shocked at everyone knowing but her, and hurt by the betrayal of her husband, she asked her husband for a divorce and has ceased any contact with me. I don't know why I told her. I even had to promise my parents and my aunt and uncle to never tell her, who also won't talk to me. Everyone is blaming me, and my brother-in-law is absolutely devastated. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Neither of our birthdays are real. I was born in May, and she was in June. We both knew that since we use another calendar in our country. So, we literally just celebrated some random day. Apparently, we were both born on May 3rd. Also, it could be about blood type for my cousin. I found out through the Rh stuff, which was a big topic in my family for some time. She just randomly one day came to me telling me her father cannot be her father. I just assumed it was because of her looking at the Rh thing, because she talked a lot about it. I also think her husband was leading her into the direction of her finding out, since he must have known how Rh things work. He is a doctor. My parents also obviously did not want to give away her child, but my aunt really begged for a child. She was in treatment and threatened S. At first, my aunt was just watching us. Eventually, she became very attached to us and asked my mother to keep one to watch. My aunt loved us both, but I always cried when my mom wasn't close. My cousin, sister, didn't, so she eventually just had her. My mom was upset, but my cousin really didn't leave home. We lived in the same house back then, and now, coming to the West, we don't. It wasn't her taking a child, it was a sneaking process. Also, my cousin's sister is staying at my brother's house with his wife and kids. He lives kind of far away, and my brother's wife and my cousin have been very close. She has not contacted anyone, but her husband seems better. I guess they are talking secretly. My cousin is also pregnant with twins. They run in the family. I don't know how she is feeling, since after our conversation, she excused herself to the bathroom and just left. She messaged me today saying she still loves me, but she cannot talk to anyone, especially our and her parents. My parents and her parents refused to talk to me. I feel very crappy about all of this, especially since it was really bad timing. Update. My cousin, sister, just told me a lot more people knew than we thought. My grandparents, my parents' uncles, aunts, etc. It was an open secret. She also thought I must have known for longer. I did not, but she does not believe me. Edit 2. A lot of people have asked me where I am from. I am from Afghanistan, Pashtun. It is common there and also very common in other places. I do not know why people are so surprised by that practice. It is not an everyday thing, not even in Afghanistan, but definitely not unheard of. It's also not just common in Afghanistan. I have friends from Turkey and even from Bosnia who have had something similar happen in their family. I am very surprised how some are in total disbelief about it. I know it is a weird situation, but really not that rare. Update 2. My cousin and her husband are working things out, and my parents are talking to me again. My cousin also is talking to me again. She is in a way happy we are siblings. My parents are talking to me again and apologize to both of us. My aunt is not well at all, so we are going to her house today, my cousin and I. My cousin is very obviously still hurt, but nowadays very curious. This all happened over the course of 2 months. Not the a-hole, and it's almost laughable at how obvious this current outcome is. Your parents had twins, blonde twins, and they all just thought no one would freaking notice the only 2 blonde girls in the family have the same birthday? Well, thank God they also didn't accidentally sign you up for the same American summer camp as kids. We don't have the same birthday officially. We were born in the Middle East, so my aunt and uncle changed it when coming to the West. My aunt has lighter hair, and my great-grandma was blonde too, so no one really questioned it. But I guess sometimes things are hidden in plain sight.